What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be my 1-year review on the QUICKRETE recap resurfacer. Yeah guys, so it's been actually a little bit over a year. I did this before winter last year. I think I did it in October or November, so not this past November, but the one before that. So it's actually been about a year and a half. We're almost through the second winter here, and we had one really bad freeze cycle. Figured today is going to be a good day to show you guys what's going on with this. I'm definitely surprised with this stuff. It's held up pretty well. Guess I'll just show you guys one pad at a time. When I originally did this, I really just planned on it being like a band-aid fix for now, and it was just going to be like an experiment to see how well it actually holds up. So it's been over a year now, so I'm actually pretty happy with how most of them have held up. So this one is the biggest problem. In the very first video I had, this is the one where I started. So if you get close, you can see a couple tiny cracks, but this one is really solid. Doesn't have any spalling really. Only a couple little hairline cracks. So yeah, this one held up really well. The part that I didn't quite get, but I'm starting to see what happened, is I did this pad and this pad the exact same way. But this one, as you can see, I'm having problems with. So it's popped up in a couple spots, but from what I can tell is these are the spots where I went a little bit too thin, is what I'm thinking. So you can see, you can even pull it up with your fingers in it here and there. Ow. But yeah, I think I just went too thin here. You can see it's doing that in a few spots. Seems like only where it's really thin is where it's coming up. Then another over here on the corner. Stuff's really hard, but just didn't make a good bond right here for whatever reason. So there's 3 spots on this one, and other than that, it's held up really well. Just these couple spots. And I had a lot of comments saying that I'm not supposed to use a bonding agent and that the directions say not to use a bonding agent. I don't remember reading that. I might remember reading that you don't need a bonding agent, but not needing and do not use are 2 different things. So I'm not 100% sure on that. I like using bonding stuff. After a year and a half, it seems like the ones where I did use bonding stuff and the ones I didn't, they've held up about the same. So if you guys remember, this was the first video, this pad. This was the second video. I don't think that I filmed these 2 middle ones. Then the last video was these up here. So these first 2 pads, I used bonding stuff for both of them. Then the middle 2 pads, I don't think I did. I'm almost positive. It's been over a year now, so I don't exactly remember it like it was yesterday, but I'm almost positive that I did not use bonding stuff for these 2 middle ones. And then I also did not use it for these 2. If I did, I only used a little bit, but I'm pretty sure I didn't use any for these 2 top ones, just because I had low expectations for these holding up. I didn't want to waste any. I figured that these ones, I was building up the most amount of material and really just trying to cover up the wire mesh that was sticking out the old ones. So didn't have very high expectations, so I didn't use bonding stuff there. First two did, the rest of them I didn't. And this one that I used the bonding stuff, holding up great. This one not so much. Then the problem with these two middle pads is that I tried out something that was actually a suggestion from one of the comments, and I just made it really wet and just kind of sponged it on. And this was without any bonding stuff, and you can see it's popping up in a lot of spots. So pretty sure it's the same problem I had with that pad, and that's basically just made it a little bit too thin. It's not made to be put on quite that thin. And then this was in the 6-month review video. This crack is from a big truck that turned around in our driveway and cracked the edge of this pad. So, but yeah, all this spalling, this is all from, I believe, just making it too thin. Both of these middle pads where I just made it really thin and brushed it on, you can see all the spots where it's popping up. These ones probably held up the worst out of all of them. I'm gonna pick up a lot of this with my fingers. Only in this area though. This is the only bad, really bad spot. But yeah, there's other little spots that you can see where a lot of it's been coming up. So yeah, these two middle ones are the worst. And then surprisingly, both of the ones closest to the road have held up really well. And I did a bunch of weird stuff for these ones. I was using different materials. I made it really thick in a bunch of spots. And I expected these ones to not hold up well because it's closest to the road, so it's going to be getting the most amount of salt. And I figured it would have the most amount of freezing and movement too. But to my surprise, these have held up really well. So these cracks on the edge, that's from that truck. And then I remember there was one really bad crack, I think, that went like through here. And I don't even think it came back, which is amazing. It might be right here. There's a little crack you can see, it comes down here. It's a hairline though. So that might be it. So really impressed with that. And then there's a couple other of the cracks that I knew were gonna come back, like that one and this one. And then it cracked up here too. I knew this one was gonna come back. But for the most part, it held up really nice. If you guys remember, or if not, you can go back and watch the original videos. There's 3 parts to me doing this and then a 6-month review video. But right here where that little dip is, there was actually wire mesh sticking up through, and I just wanted something to just, you know, put a band-aid fix on this right before winter because I didn't have enough time to redo the driveway. I just didn't want to get any flat tires from that wire mesh or anything. And these ones, I went really thick pretty much on all the coats on these top 2. And there's not very much spalling. Right here where this crack is, there's one little piece coming off. But for the most part, it's still holding up pretty good. Not very many issues, which is really surprising. On the very edge here, there's a little bit. And that's because I went too thin again on this edge, and this is where it got cracked from that truck. So kind of like a double whammy right here on the edge. But since that got cracked and these middle pads are spalling real bad, I'm just planning on replacing all of this. Since it got cracked and them are spalling and this one's spalling, instead of just trying to redo it with this resurfacer, I'm just gonna tear up all of this and redo it with new concrete. Just don't know when yet, because I have a couple other big projects that I'm in the middle of. So whenever I get them buttoned up, then I'll attack this. But it's actually holding up really, really nice for now. So a year and a half later, and other than the spalling that's happened, at least I still have a pretty solid driveway. And I actually got to shovel it a few times this winter, which made me really happy. A couple of those spots right here, my shovel was catching on, but for the most part, I was able to shovel the whole driveway without having to stop every couple seconds from it, like digging into something. Just this one winter, it was almost worth it. But yeah, for the most part, I'm pretty happy with this stuff. I believe I spent between $500 and $600 to redo these 6 pads here. For how well they're holding up, it's not bad. If you don't have the money to do something right away, or you're in a pinch or something, then you could definitely get by with doing this and it lasting a couple years if you did it right. Like I said, definitely don't go too thin, because that's where I had the issues. Definitely some pretty high quality stuff. It should be for how expensive it is per bag. Like I said, I think if I were to do this again, I would just spend the money and tear it up and relay the concrete and do it the right way. And that'll last, 10 times longer than this. All right, guys, so that's gonna be the 1 year review on this QUICKRETE recap. It's hard to say. And hopefully this video helps someone out, helps you decide whether or not this is for you or not. Yeah, like I said, there's been a couple real bad freeze and thaw cycles, so I'm actually pretty surprised of how well it's held up. If I would have gone thicker on all of them, then I think it actually would have held up really, really well. They all would have been like this first pad that I did, and then the top 2. So if I didn't have any spalling, then it'd be a lot better, but still think going with all new concrete is the way to go. So yeah, guys, hope this helped. If it did, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on the future videos, and drop a big thumbs up down below. It really helps the video reach a wider audience, and I really appreciate it. Hope you have a great day. Peace.